When you go to the grocery store and buy stuff online, do you realize the price is increasing? And do you hear from other people complaining about housing price or tuition? These are all caused by inflation. When people hear the word inflation, the first feeling is that this is detrimental to the society, and it is simply a sign of a bad economy. However, do you really know how inflation works in society? And does it only have drawbacks? The official definition of inflation is the rate of increase in prices over a given period of time. It's like you can use $1 to buy 2 pencils today, but you can only buy one tomorrow with $1. It shows that inflation is increasing. Inflation has caused the goods in the US to significantly increase recently. The most significant change is very related to us. School lunches rose by 254% from 2021 to 2022. However, some changes were reduced, like the cost of smartphones were reduced by 23%. There are also some changes around me. When I go to the grocery store, I don't pay a lot of attention to the price difference. Since the price is gradually increasing, it is not obvious for me to see the change of price. However, when I check my bills over the years, I realize the price is actually increasing. Small changes are hard to notice, but when I compare the beginning with the present, I realize there's a big change on the price. Also, when my parents paid the tuition for me this year, they were surprised that the price was increasing from last year. And I always like to search for my parents' house's price, and I found that the house's price increases a lot compared to the time when my parents bought it. As a regular person, people always feel stressed and anxious about inflation. It lowers people's living standard because it increases people's financial burden and reduces their purchasing power. It makes people hard to save money for the future and have a stable life. As an adult, they also need to use money to rent or buy houses in the future, and it is easier to see the increasing price through this way. A lot of people think inflation is not only bad for the country's economy, but also for people's daily life. However, consistent inflation is bad for the economy, but it is often good to have a short period of economic growth. And although inflation makes the product's price increase, it can also faster the economic growth in a short period of time. A moderate amount of inflation is healthy to the economy. This pushes the price a little bit higher because the merchant wants to produce more products for customers and business. It is also beneficial for workers. With the increase of inflation, it makes the increase in demand for labor, and their wages also increase. So for the people who pay who borrow the fixed debt, it is easier for them to manage the debt payment because their wages increase. As we know, the financial crisis happened in 2008, and it causes the rate of inflation drops to negative 0.4% in 2009. When the rate of inflation is negative, it's called deflation. Deflation is not bad for economy. It makes the business not have money to hire more workers, and a lot of people lose their jobs. Also, it makes people's wages will not increase. From this graph, it shows the wages growth versus inflation from 2020 to 2024. We can see with the increase of inflation, the wages also increase. But when the inflation decreases, the wage tend to fall. Overall, it is beneficial to have a short period of inflation, but it is detrimental to the economy with a consistent inflation. Thank you.